Brad Johnson. I am an animal science instructor and the judging team coordinator here at Texas A&M University of Commerce. I am one of, when Dr. Harp started 2.5 years ago, he wanted 5 new faculty members. I am one of those that came along the way as the college has expanded and become larger. So, livestock judging. What is it? What is its importance to the industry? What is its importance to A&M Commerce? These are students that are working 4 days a week, one of those days being pretty much all day Saturday. It is literally an NCAA sport. Not kidding. It is governed by a coaches association that they have to maintain a 2.0 GPA. That is checked by an academic coordinator every semester. We have to send in their official transcripts. Cannot have any whiteout on it or anything like that. Must be sent in officially. And once again, it is literally an NCAA sport. They judge 12 classes of livestock, get 8 sets of oral reasons. Okay? But to give you some background, some history or some value to A&M Commerce, to the students, what is all this about? Well, think about this. Agriculture supplies about 20% of the jobs in the United States. My slogan always is, if you eat, you're involved in agriculture. I always ask that of students, do you think you're involved in agriculture? Oh, no, not whatsoever. Well, did you eat today? Yes. Well, then you're involved in agriculture. Oh, okay, that's one good way to think of it. So, our job is to feed the world protein, primarily from the animal science side. What is our world population trend? It's increasing dramatically. What's occurring, what's happening to the amount of land that we produce, that we use to produce livestock on? It's decreasing dramatically, so we have increasing demand for efficiency of production, increasing demand for product. So these can be reached through selection, evaluation, production of cattle, sheep, goats, and hogs, and poultry. For example, in the 1950s, average market steer weighed 1,000 pounds. It took about 8 pounds of feed for it to gain 1 pound of weight. Our average market steer today, last year, our average market steer weighed 1,385 pounds at market, and average feed efficiency, it took 5 pounds to gain 1 pound of weight. Okay? That's been accomplished through selection. That's been accomplished through genetic selection, using our brains to be more efficient in our production. Okay? So, once again, how does this connect to A&M Commerce? Our vision or our mission in the College of Agricultural Sciences and Natural Resources is to be the premier hands-on experiential learning agricultural university in the state of Texas. That's our niche. We're not a land grant. We're not going out and after all these research dollars. Our niche is to be hands-on. Okay, so how do we achieve that? One of the ways we're achieving that is through a livestock judging team, meat judging team, livestock show team. We're giving these students this opportunity to be hands-on, to learn experientially. Okay? They're getting an outstanding education and they're learning life skills from this that they don't necessarily learn in other places. Plus they're networking, they're traveling. These contests are all over the United States, everywhere from Cow Palace in San Francisco to the Big E in Springfield, Massachusetts. We can go all over the United States if we choose to. We may not have the budget to go to all those, that's understandable. We are recruiting the best of the best students, and we're not using student funds to go out and recruit. But by having these teams, it allows us to go out and recruit these students, and you can't believe the inroads we're making. Just from starting in August and visiting with students then, and potential students, and ag teachers, extension agents, key stakeholders, we're making some significant traction. We're pulling in some tremendous students. Plus, obviously, they represent A&M Commerce nationwide. Okay? Like I said, a livestock judging contest is 12 classes of livestock, 8 sets of reasons. It takes them all day. And by that 8 sets of reasons, that means they give those 8 sets of reasons after they've judged those 12 classes of livestock. So they have to develop memory. They have to have note-taking skills. They have to recall that. and they're presenting that in a formal fashion to a reasons taker, they're coming up with vocabulary skills, extemporaneous speaking skills, etc. This is where we're training the future of our food suppliers. So, plus we're teaching competition, team values for a competitive world, plus lots of these students, they're friends for life. I was a national champion sheep judge for the University of Nebraska, was in the top 20 in the nation for beef cattle. I still talk pretty much once a week to teammates. I coached Purdue's livestock judging team for a couple of years when I was a grad student. The students that I coached still come back and say that was one of their best learning experiences ever, because of getting to travel all over the United States, seeing tremendous livestock, and the resume builder when a potential job seeker or job person sees that on a resume, they know how much work went into that. Okay? So we're teaching students to develop critical thinking skills, analyze, and make decisions. Heaven knows how difficult making decisions can be for some people. Some of those life skills they're learning, like I said, time management, note-taking, thought organization, building vocabulary, extemporaneous speaking, and professionalism. They're not dressed like hobos up doing this. They're dressed in jackets and ties. They look very formal and professional throughout this. You have 15 minutes to place a class, you move on to the next class. Giving oral reasons. Like I said, that's after they've gone through the whole thing. Hopefully at the end, you have quite a few, some hardware. So judging teams, very, very critical for recruitment, retention of students. Like Dr. Hart mentioned at the beginning, College of Agricultural Sciences and Natural Resources has grown about 85% in the last 4 or 5 years without the increase in budget. Because of having these teams, it's amazing what we've been able to pull in for students. Students have come in and visited from Indiana, Oklahoma, Tennessee. Young lady here in the bottom on the left is from Tennessee. She was on a national champion livestock 4-H skill-a-thon team, was on a Tennessee state champion 4-H team, showed a national champion limousine female. She'll be here next fall. We wouldn't have had a chance with her if we didn't have these opportunities. Young lady at the bottom, of all things, is from Celeste High School. She had showed champion weather dam at San Antonio this past year. Once again, if I hadn't been judging some shows and gotten to meet her, she'll be here next fall. Originally, her plan was she was going to go to Tarleton, or she has an older sister that's in the Air Force. She was going to go to the Air Force. I actually talked her into it. She'll be here next fall, like I said. She's a key domino in pulling a whole bunch of other students that are just like her. Holy smokes. This is pretty cool. We're gaining traction. Big time. So, have had lots of interest from students from Louisiana, North Carolina. I spent almost 10 years in North Carolina as an extension agent, so I have quite a few connections there. Texas and Virginia. Plus, the students that we serve, they're very multidisciplinary. So, some sample of careers. And again, that's the ultimate goal of what we're doing, is preparing students for careers to go out and be successful. You can see some of those all over the place. It's like I said, when a potential employer sees livestock judging on a resume, they realize how much work and dedication, the life skills that student is potentially bringing to that company. And plus, for us at A&M Commerce, it brings tremendous national exposure. Oklahoma State, Texas Tech, Kansas State, those are the major powers. Our goals, we're going to be competitive with them. It takes funding to help us do that. And again, for what y'all provide us at this point, we can capitalize on that and build from there. Like I said, we're gaining traction with the students we have. Questions before I go to the study, which is going to be very, very similar, just a few small changes. So again, meats judging. What the heck is meats judging? You put it this way, you learn to appreciate hard hat, hairnets, beard shoots, cooler coats, white frocks, and being in a cooler for long periods of time and understanding that meat industry. Again, I've been through all of this as far as world population and so forth, but when you think about it from how do we fix this issue of increasing population and decreasing land, well, good golly, meats teams, they're working through it through evaluation of meats, research, greater efficiency of production both live and on the carcass side. Again, like I said, the average market steer in the 1950s was 1,000 pounds. We provide an incredible amount of product to the world. We provide, I don't remember how many pounds, total pounds of product, but we only have a very small percentage of the actual animals, okay? Because we're so much more efficient in our production. Again, with the meats team, we're providing, again, outstanding education and life skills, networking, job, travel opportunities. These students, oh, one thing I should mention for both livestock and meats judging, it's not like they have 4 years of eligibility. These students only have 1 year of eligibility. So when you think of it of, oh my gosh, that doesn't affect very many students, it does, because we have to have students in the pipeline that we're actually recruiting and teaching each year as freshmen, sophomores. The end of their junior and beginning of their senior years is when they compete. So once they compete, for example, in livestock judging, they compete at the North American in Louisville, Kentucky, their eligibility is done. They can't compete anymore. Once they compete at the National Meats Judging Contest in Nebraska, they're done. Their eligibility is over. They have 1 year to complete this eligibility. So when you add up, if we have 20 students as freshmen, 20 students as sophomores, 20 students as juniors, oh, that's 80 kids. That's livestock judging. That kind of adds up to almost the same as an athletics team. We don't have that quite yet. We're working on that. We're building toward that. That's our goal. Okay? But again, you see hog carcasses there. Students are learning to evaluate those. Again, critical decision-making skills. Okay? And again, they write out reasons. They don't give oral reasons. They write out their reasons. So again, vocabulary skills, writing, critical thinking, again, professionalism as you go through it. Judging team, again, very critical for recruitment. Dr. Harp started the meats judging team this past fall. Luke Fox came on in January as a grad student. He was on a world champion meats judging team at Texas A&M. They won a contest in Australia. He has been very active this past spring, even as a new grad student, working with the meats judging team. They've traveled a few different places and done some really good things. And again, he's pulling students that we wouldn't have had traction with in the past simply because we have these teams, we have these opportunities for students to be involved in them. He's been to, well, we help run the 4-H and FFA meats judging contests at Fort Worth. He's taken students down to College Station for a collegiate judging workout down there. They help run the collegiate livestock or collegiate meats judging contest at Houston for that contest. So thinking about it from there, some samples of careers, and you think about it, some different things on here that are kind of unique. Does anybody have any idea what the steak is up there at the top on the left?
Fajita.
It's not a fajita. It's a mighty expensive fajita, considering that's Wagyu beef. Has anybody ever heard of flat iron steak? Okay. What's the big deal about a flat iron steak? It's actually the second most tender muscle on a beef carcass. Okay? That was developed through beef checkoff dollars. It's actually the infraspinatus muscle. It's the bottom side of the scapula, bottom side of the shoulder blade. Cut it one way, it's a roast. Cut it another direction, it's a flat iron steak. That was developed through research with meats. Okay? How many, certainly y'all have been through the grocery store and you see the single slurve packets of meatloaf or pot roast, whatever. Pop it in the microwave 2 minutes and ta-da, it's done. Again, that was developed meats research, trying to be more efficient with production. Okay? best one of all, the McRib. I mean, I've eaten a McRib sandwich. Okay? I've eaten one just to try it, claim it. Okay? Dr. Roger Mandigo at the University of Nebraska developed the McRib sandwich when I was a student there. If you ever notice, there's very, very little pork on fast food menus. Why? Pork has a lot of unsaturated fat in it. What do we do in fast food? We cook food quickly, it sits under a heat lamp, wait for the consumer to come purchase it. What happens to unsaturated fat while it's sitting there under a heat lamp? It saturates, it's exposed to oxygen, the fat becomes rancid. It's not very appealing, it doesn't taste very good. So what Dr. Mandigo did, in his brilliance, he restructured all that pork, took out as much of that unsaturated fat as possible, covered it in barbecue sauce, pickles, and onions. Ta-da! Put it in that riblet form, and there's the McRib. When he introduced this in the early 1990s, this impacted pork prices nationwide. Like, huge. It sent them through the roof because of demand for that sandwich. Again, this is meat science. This is being more efficient with production, trying to find new ways to feed our growing population. These are some of the things that are as a result of meat judging team, livestock judging team, etc. Questions? I will yield the floor. I certainly didn't do that good a job. And I apologize if my voice is cruddy. I don't know what crud I'm fighting, but it's not very fun.
Questions, anybody?
Yeah, I think it was for the livestock judging team.
Yes, sir.
You had $10,000 last year, but it looks like you didn't use it.
No, they did not use that. The current grad student that is livestock judging team coach, and I'm the coordinator, have two grad students that one coaches livestock judging team, one coaches meats judging team. He didn't do much. We're going to use that money. We will build with that. That is for the future. Ask for, I believe, $18,000 for a grad, for a TA to come in. The student I am looking at, or potential, be a PhD candidate that has coached collegiately previously. She, talking with other people, they have said, oh, she's perfect for what you're trying to build. Has experience, potential fundraising experience if we need to go that route, and that's certainly the issue here. If you don't receive full funding, it's going to hurt. We'll have to do some fundraising. Been down that road, we can do that. She's awesome. Students love her. She has been extremely competitive. Still working on that. Would love for you to be able to fund that one, because I can go to her and get a potential answer one way or the other. And if she says no, we'll punt and go with plan B. We'll have to work on another one. But we will use that money, I can assure you. Thomas actually was one of the students. We went to the NACDA conference a week ago in Murray, Kentucky. It's a contest that rotates every year, and we'll use funding from that for, we competed in the livestock management contest. We'll pull money out of that, have some clinics and so forth looking to do this summer, an oral reasons clinic, do a couple show clinics that we'll use money out of that. We will use that.
So this 50,000 you're asking this year, is it on top of that 10,000 you already have, or?
Correct.
Okay.
Like I said, what has been allocated, we would use as much as possible. Like I said, the students that we have coming in, I would hope to be able to field a team this coming January for livestock. And the meats team, they're working. They also should probably be fielding a team in January also.
And how many members are there in each team?
A full team is 5.
Full team is 5. And you have 10, like
Yes.
5 in each team right now?
Yes.
And they are from, you said they are from different departments on campus? Or are they mostly from ag?
They're ag.
They're
For
ag.
the most part, they're ag.
Okay.
For livestock judging,
Okay.
according to Coaches Association rules, they must be ag majors to compete in
Okay.
livestock judging.
Okay.
And funding was provided last year for the livestock show team, meat judging team, or?
Livestock judging team.
Okay.
Meats judging, and I split them this year, because last year we asked for the money together. And like I said, we've been using money out of that for meats judging team that's been traveling and so forth, and what little they've done with livestock judging. Livestock judging, forgive me for putting it this way, the grad student didn't do much, and it's almost been a Control-Alt-Delete reboot. And like I said, we're making progress big time.
I have another question.
Yes, sir.
Looks like you guys go to like 4 competitions: San Antonio, Houston, Fort Worth, and
That's
Denver.
just an example.
That's an example.
That's an example.
So is there like do you guys plan how many you're gonna go each year?
It depends on budget.
Okay.
One, it depends on budget, and it also depends on how prepared they are.
Okay.
In reality, in the spring, you want to start a team, again, their eligibility starts in the spring, can go to Phoenix, to Arizona National, to Denver, to the National Western. Once they start, that begins their eligibility. You can go to those, you could go to Fort Worth, San Antonio, Houston, the NACTA contest. There are a few other, you could go to Dixie National. That's 8 right there just in the spring. You could go to Iowa Beef Expo, could go to Nebraska Cattlemen's Classic, and those are cattle-only contests. You could go to the National Meat Animal Evaluation Contest that rotates nationally. That's 11 contests right there just in the spring alone. And believe it or not, there are some teams that do that. They are on the road forever, and they have an unbelievable budget.
Will there be a difference if your team goes locally, like around Dallas, DFW area, rather than going to regional or national? Like
Yes,
at this
it
point,
would.
like would that make a big difference, like
Yes.
on what students learn and how
Yes.
it affects? Okay.
Yes, big time, because there just aren't that many contests locally.
Okay.
Keep going. We're being inundated by horse kiddos. Some of my favorite ones.
All right, no other questions? Thank you, sir.
Thank you.